So good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Martin Le Cossec. So I'm French, working in Switzerland since 15 years in the Wi-Fi area, and since around 10 years now in Wi-Fi. And I work for University of Lausanne, and I will present a topic a little different than usual, a little less techniques, but more for network monitoring when you have to make some day-to-day work on a big network. So about University of Lausanne, just the cables. Okay, so it's in border of Lemon Lake in Switzerland. So it's a French part of Switzerland where we around 17,000 students, 5,000 staff, a lot of buildings, 3 data centers, and a lot of devices, a lot of switches, a lot of APs. So it's quite a challenge to monitor that. Yeah, it's monitoring depends really of your infrastructure. So we have seen this morning system like Meraki or system like Mist, where you can have really all the layer of the networks. I probably forget some of them, maybe FortiGate also. Sorry if I forget something. So if you have a unified infrastructures, now you have usually common monitoring. It's more and more going on cloud. So you have really good scope of the networks. But in the case of university, we have really old infrastructures, and I'm sure that some of you have same problems. And you have sometimes many brands, different teams, and the teams have moved, and it's sometimes okay. Huh? But it's. Okay, okay, perfect. So sometimes you have many brands, different teams, a lot of historic before, and you can also have different generations of devices. So if you want to use the monitoring of your builders, you will sometimes to have upgrade all your fleets, and when you have really huge networks, it's complicated to plan that. So how do you monitor that? Do you have to launch the morning when you arrive at home, at office, all your web page with different brands? Maybe sometimes if you have really old systems, you have a Java error or things like that. There are usually 2 ways when you have that. It's you use the old style SNMP stuff like Nagios, Zabbix, or I can think Isinger, CheckMK, SolarWinds, eventually if you have a customer, business applications. So it comes sometimes with a limit of history. If you go back to 1 year before, you have maybe 1 point every 4 hours. That can be quite tough if you want to make troubleshootings, especially in big networks when sometimes the problems take some time to go up. So you have a good scope of network, but sometimes it's little old style, sometimes slow also, because it's based on databases. And today I wanted to show a little what we do in university. It's a little the new style, but we have seen Grafana from its use with VLAN-Pi. So it's little different. So we have exporters that will convert the data of your device to present them at time series. And after we use Prometheus, so it's been developed by SoundCloud. It's an open source solutions now, supported by cloud native foundations. And it's TSDB, and it's have been really created at the origin. It was for cloud solutions provider that have a lot of servers on cloud. They have a lot of servers, a lot of content, a lot of music. It's the same case for I think Facebook, Google, all that stuff. And university we use that. And after we make the visualization in Grafana, so you have had a view a little this morning thanks to Jerry and Nick Turner. So you have seen it's really interesting. You can make really interesting stuff. So a little how it works. So it will be a little more code oriented, less Wi-Fi oriented. So you have your device that have the capability you have. It's old style. Usually you still have SNMP. You can have API now with the newer systems. You can have also some app sometimes, or you can have code running. And the idea is that the exporters create a web page where he displays the metrics, And Prometheus will just come to get regularly to every 5 minutes, 15 seconds, depending on what you are monitoring, and will store this time series database. On Grafana, you use that to present the data, to make custom dashboards, and alors, I will just go in the details for the metrics, but it's really different compared to the usual solutions like Nagios or things like that, where you have database, so you have a sort of hierarchy. And here, you can consider like that like text lines. So for example, I have two examples for the Wi-Fi. So what it just display is that you have 23 peoples on in 5 gig on the AP with the name of the AP, and in our case we have add also the AP group, AP MAC on the zone, the area, because we use Ruckus, so we have different area in our data in our university. And behind, it will be the same. So we see that the noise for this IP is at neg 106. So it's a really a web page. It's just a web page displaying all that data, and it's refresh every to the frequency you need. And what Prometheus will come, it will just come to take this data and just put a timestamp to say, okay, we are at 10 of October, it's 2 o'clock. I have this information about the IP. The strength of the Prometheus solutions, it's the query language. I don't know if some of you have done some database research, but sometimes when you have different tables, select star from something, join, and left join, and you check the ID. It's just a nightmare when you write when you want to write really complicated database research. Here, it's really finally, you are looking in text. In text, it's really quick. If you have already done that, if you have done a grep on a Linux server, it's really quick and it's really efficient. And what you just do, is you write the things you need. So, for example, if I want to know the number of Wi-Fi users I have in a room, for example, it's for instance, in an auditorium where I have a lot of antennas. Here I have a standard naming. It's the AP minus the number of the buildings and the number of a room, and after it's ABCD. So here, I just make a sum of the number of clients on 5 gig and 2 gig, and I just precise that I want just the statistics of the antenna that start with the name AP max 35 or 300 or anything you want to add. And with that, I can also make some ratio, for example, to have a ratio of number of people per access point. If I know I have 16 access points, I can make a ratio and have an idea if I have to be a little worried about my coverage, or if I'm quite nice. And things also you can do for network. We 8 multicast in network, and you can also make a weight. So, for example, the switch will give you the number of multicast packets that I have received on the ports. So it's just go increasing. So you make just a weight and see, okay, what is my weight in 10 minutes? And I just don't want to have information on the ports that are over 2,000. It's by university, we have never 600 switches, so it's with 48 ports every time. So 40,000. I don't want to have all the information of the 40,000 ports, but I want just to be informed when I have something that is going up. So behind, we use Grafana to make the visualizations, and the great thing with Grafana is we can really design the dashboards that fit your needs. And for university, in the IT team, we manage the firewall. We have all the routers of the campus. We have the load balancers also, the VPN, the Wi-Fi, internet traffic, number of Wi-Fi users and all the networks, and also a switch of data centers. So I don't need the morning to have to open 3 GUI or 3 different dashboards to have a view. So the strength with Grafana, it's you can really make something that really fits your needs, and it's the case for us. So we have these dashboards for the morning. We have in the last 6 hours the informations we get, so we can see the number of VPN clients, if we have some devices that are offline, the number of users on Wi-Fi, the traffic, internet. You can really have all that things. And second things, it's for example for Wi-Fi. We have in university nearly 750, nearly 800 access points. And the problem is that most of the access points, it's in the corridor or in the room. So in that case, usually it works, and except if the clients have problems on his device, but usually it works. But now my big problems, it's like we have seen the presentations before with Wi-Fi stadiums. It's really my auditorium where all the students need to follow a little what's happened, because they have VDI courses, they have exams. I need to have a look a little to see okay, what's going on, when is the restart of the school, what's happened in my auditorium. It's really where I need the good Wi-Fi, and I need really to have a view of what's happened. So for example, a personalized dashboard. So with the Wi-Fi, the number of users on the campus, the user per auditorium, to have an idea also what we see from 8 o'clock to 10 with the first courses, to 10 to 12, and after I can have an idea also where are the students, where the students are located in the network. And after I make the famous ratio per IP, and I can have a lot of data like that. Maybe 8 minutes. Yeah, I have time to show you a little how it looks. Ça marche super. Non, bon. Alors, I show you after. I will show you first the architecture. So the goal when moving to Prometheus Grafana was also to have something that is easy to maintain, easy to deploy, and easy to scale if you want to add some servers. So it works it works like that. So we have a node exporter. That's really the main products that you've developed for Prometheus. It's usually running on Linux or servers. So we just present the metrics I showed just before. With Ruckus, we have developed with the API of Ruckus, we have developed our own exporters for smart zones. To export also this data. We have some SNMP exporter for really legacy device, the switches, sometimes firewalls or load balancers. And the last one is what's called black box exporters. It's tools that you can use for pinging, for checking a web page, if a web page is available. Over it, we have a Prometheus cluster. So we have one for prod, one for test, one in every data center. So if we lose one data center, we are good. And we have it's a Victoria Matrix. It's something to make long-term storage. So we want to keep 2 or 3 years of data. Over it, we have the alert manager. So we have seen before we can make with POMQL some requests to have, for example, for another multicast packets going over 2,000. So it's we use that to check to get some emails or some Teams webhook. And over it, we have Grafana that we use for visualizations. And all run with Docker, so it's really easy it's a solution of containerization. So in fact, you just deploy a new Linux servers, install Docker, and you just send your infrastructures. And it's every small services run is in own virtual machines. And the idea is that all the things are autonomous, and you can redeploy new servers really quickly, because it will just run, download the image of the systems, and run this device independently. So like I had 20 minutes, so thanks for choosing me. I have done a quick demo. There is a code on GitHub. with Docker Compose and little explain how to deploy. So I will show you what you can do on your side if you want to test it, and if you want to deploy with small sites. It will be it's interesting, and it's a small infrastructure, so easier to understand. So what I have done is I have my MacBook with an exporter to show the metrics of my CPU. It's not running on nuclear power plants. It's just running the Grafana Prometheus. It's just running on my Raspberry Pi. And I have just my phone that broadcasts the networks, because the Wi-Fi is quite terrible here. And that's all. Also, I have my own internal network with my adapters. Alors, I will go back. Stop it. Okay. Alors, 4 minutes. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So it was an example of Grafana. So what we got, for example, is this year. So since this year, the teacher have changed a little their way to make their courses, and they ask to the students to make some flash, for example, to make some quote on the phones, asking questions, and we have a huge increase. And the strength with Grafana, it's we can see 1,200 people in my auditoriums, and the strength with Grafana, if I can go back to 2022 and to see a little and see, okay, no, I didn't have so much people, so what's have happened? And is it really from here? I hope, I think it's this one. Yeah. And another, voilà. It's with VPN, it's maybe slow. No, that's okay. Okay. And here it's, for example, what I got in January. So I can really go back to 1 year to 6 months, and I really have a big precision and see if it's and go back go back with precision, and it's super quick, as you see. Really go back to the data and see every 5 minutes how many people I had in my auditoriums and what's happened. Okay, so another device, I will show you that. So I have done a small Docker projects that I have shared with you. So it's explained a little how it works. So there is instructions to install it and to install Docker, and it's working on any device, any Linux systems. So it's written for Debian, but you can convert if you have Red Hat. Voilà. So just to show, so what you have to do first, so it's to have Linux systems. So Raspberry Pi is good. I have make the documentation also to install Portainer. So Portainer is just a GUI that will run on your Raspberry Pi, on your device or your servers, that show a little what are the containers running, what's happening, and you can go after inside, have a look of a parameter, restart it if you need. And I have just a node exporter for the demo just running, so it's just so it's 30.1, so it's my MacBook. So just displaying what is the status of my disk, the CPU informations, the load. Same on my Raspberry Pi. It's also running, so giving some data. And I have my Prometheus running here. So up. So it's so as explained, the Prometheus will come to take the data. So I have a few things. So I have my MacBook. We see that it's online monitoring. I had also make for my Synology NAS, the switches. Here I talk about the black box, checking from the WLPC on WLPC.com website is online. We can see that with the network, where the internet connections, we have little latency on getting the data on the ping. And one last thing, so it's the thing network. And we have behind Grafana, and we can see, so if I want to see my MacBook, I have it's run during the night and a little now, but I can go back to my data to see a little what was the status of my MacBook, we have the size of the disk, etc. So I have 55 seconds, so nice, that's good. And so how it works, It's really based on Docker, so it's little code. You have to get little info, but it's not so hard to understand. So you have a Docker compose that will explain to Docker how you launch that. How to do that. So as I said, you just install Linux, install Docker, and copy my code, and start your stuff. So it's just explain how to create the container. I want a container called node exporter that will display my data. I want to see what's going on with my processor, my system, the disk. And it will expose the data on the port 9000. Same for Grafana. I explained that I need also to have some disk. Some volumes to store the data. So if I restart my container, all the data are still there, all my dashboards, all stuff like that. I import some my username and password, so like that I can back up my code without giving the informations to the users. Prometheus same. So it's quite easy to use. SNMP also, and I think that's nice. And after, but you have a config file up. Config file. There's .env. I will add the .env things. I have recreate that thing. But .env that's you will have a small file called .env where you put your passwords. So yeah, by default Docker up don't backup. I will just put that in the code, and you just modify, put your passwords inside, and keep it on secret. Don't backup that on GitHub, or you will get hacked. So a lot of explanations, how to run it, where is the configurations, how to start it. So just a sudo docker. You go just in the directory, make a Docker compose up -d. It will download the image and will check in the data. And just to finish, in network SNMP, there are a lot of things that are done, but on Wi-Fi, depending a little on the manufacturer, it's coming little. So in Unil we use Eurocus, so there were already a code shared by a guy called Rico, so that we used it, and we tweaked a little for university, but it's mainly this code. For Cisco, there is a Cisco exporter already available. It's mainly on Nexus, so it's the high-end things. But if you just type Prometheus exporter, your brand, and sometimes usually you have some things, Aruba things, GNOS, there is some missed things existing, Arista. And at last you have some dashboards on Grafana, and usually if you look for the data, you just type your brand, and sometimes the people, they share the dashboards, but also they share also the code, how they run it, and so like that if you want to use that. So yeah, thanks for your attention, and yeah, it's you want to stop. And yeah.